So there's a lot of newness. I think the thing that isn't new is what USA Basketball is, what the goals are, what we want to accomplish, and like how we go about doing that.
It's not about like being young, age, or whatever. It's about the opportunity to be here, to represent, and understand that you're a part of something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, Kyle! You're going posting? How we doing down here? We guarded?
Ready on 3, 1, 2, 3. Right.
Welcome to the new quad. I'm really excited to be here. I hope you are too.
For months, the conversation around Caitlin Clark followed the same script. She was talented, she was exciting, but according to many critics, she wasn't ready for Team USA. When the Olympic roster was announced and her name wasn't on the list, that belief only grew stronger. Analysts debated it on television. Fans argued about it online. Some said the decision proved the hype had gone too far. But everything changed the moment Caitlin Clark stepped onto the court wearing a Team USA jersey. Because in a matter of minutes, the narrative that had followed her for months began to collapse. When Team USA revealed the roster for the Paris Olympics, the reaction was immediate. The team was stacked with experience, elite veterans who had already proven themselves on the international stage. From a traditional basketball perspective, the decision made sense. Team USA had dominated global competition for years using the same formula: experience, chemistry, reliability. But something about the decision still felt strange to millions of fans, because by that point, Caitlin Clark had already become one of the most recognizable names in basketball. Her deep shooting range stretched defenses far beyond the three-point line. Her passing vision created opportunities that few players could see, and her presence had already brought unprecedented attention to women's basketball. Yet despite all of that momentum, she wasn't on the Olympic roster. The message seemed clear. Team USA wasn't ready to hand the spotlight to a newcomer. The debate that followed was impossible to ignore. Some voices insisted the decision was purely about basketball. Veterans had earned their place through years of international competition. Olympic tournaments are not development opportunities. They are about winning gold. Others saw the situation differently. They believed leaving Caitlin Clark off the roster ignored something important. Basketball isn't only about systems and experience, it's also about evolution. And Clark represented a new kind of offensive gravity, a player who could stretch defenses to distances rarely seen before, a player capable of changing the pace of the game with a single possession. The discussion continued for weeks, and through all of it, Clark remained mostly silent. She kept playing, she kept preparing, and eventually, another opportunity arrived. When Caitlin Clark was invited to join Team USA competition and training, the moment carried a different weight. This wasn't just another appearance, it was a chance to answer every question that had surrounded her for months. The cameras were ready, the crowd was curious, and the entire basketball world was watching, because everyone wanted to see the same thing. What would happen when Caitlin Clark finally stepped onto the floor in a Team USA uniform? When the game began, there was no dramatic speech, no emotional gesture, just basketball. Clark moved through the offense with calm confidence. She didn't rush possessions. She didn't hunt highlight shots. Instead, she did what great point guards do. She read the floor. Her first few touches were simple: quick passes, sharp decisions, controlled pace. But even in those early moments, something subtle began to happen. The spacing on the court started to change. Caitlin Clark's shooting range forces defenders into uncomfortable decisions. If they stay too close to the paint, she can pull up from distances most players wouldn't even consider. If they guard her tightly, driving lanes suddenly open for teammates. That kind of offensive gravity is rare, and when she began stretching the defense beyond the arc, the entire structure of the game shifted. Suddenly, the offense had more space, transition opportunities appeared faster, passing angles widened. This wasn't about one highlight play, it was about how the game itself began to move differently, and everyone on the floor could feel it. What made Caitlin Clark's debut even more impressive wasn't the distance of her shots, it was the way she played. There was no hesitation, no sign that the moment felt too big. She moved with the same rhythm that had defined her career, reading defenders, anticipating rotations, delivering passes a split second before teammates even realized they were open. This wasn't a rookie trying to survive on a big stage. This was a player completely comfortable within it. As the game continued, reactions around her began to shift. Teammates adjusted their movement to her timing. Off-ball cuts became more aggressive, the offense flowed faster, and the bench noticed. Claps came earlier, smiles appeared during timeouts, small gestures of respect started to form. In basketball, those details matter, because recognition inside a locker room is rarely immediate. It has to be earned through performance, and in that moment, Clark was earning it possession by possession. While the game unfolded, fans online were watching just as closely. Clips of her deep range began circulating across social media. Highlights spread rapidly. Analysts who had previously questioned her readiness started shifting their tone, because the film was difficult to ignore. Clark wasn't struggling to keep up, she was helping the system run smoother, and that realization began to reshape the entire conversation. What happened during that debut wasn't simply about statistics, it was about perception. For months, critics had framed Caitlin Clark as a player who still needed time, a young star who would eventually grow into the international stage. But her performance suggested something different. It suggested that her style of play could already thrive there, that her vision, shooting range, and pace could translate across any level of competition. And when that kind of versatility appears, the conversation changes, because basketball at the highest level rewards adaptability. Players who can elevate multiple systems, players who make teammates better simply by being on the floor. By the end of the night, the debate that once surrounded Caitlin Clark felt very different. The original question was simple: did she belong on Team USA? After watching her debut, many observers began asking a new one: why had it taken this long? That kind of shift doesn't happen through arguments or headlines. It happens through performance, quiet confidence, consistent decision-making, and the ability to change the rhythm of a game without forcing the spotlight. Clark didn't chase validation, she demonstrated it. Caitlin Clark's Team USA debut didn't need dramatic speeches. It didn't require viral celebrations. The moment spoke for itself, through the spacing she created, through the passes that unlocked defenses, through the calm control she brought to every possession. And in doing so, she changed the tone of the entire conversation. Because sometimes the most powerful response to doubt isn't a statement, it's proof. And on that night, wearing the Team USA jersey, Caitlin Clark delivered exactly that. She proved she belonged.